Hello, good evening. Let's wait until this guy loads. Um, if you have any concerns about your child at all, want me to know anything about them, just go to this Bitly. It's a quick little form. It's basically what's your child name, what period they have, which is helpful, and then just what you want me to know about them. It literally could be anything. They like this, or they struggle with this, or we have just this happened in our lives that may affect their learning, whatever it may be. And you don't have to do it. There's the bell. Let's go to the next slide. I'm Mr. Porzio. Welcome. I'm looking forward to teaching your children. I love teaching. I can't really do anything else. That's basically the only thing that I know how to do. But I love it so much, and I put much of my energy into it. This is U.S. history. So a little bit about me. I actually went to college at UCLA for British literature, and through reading literature, reading poetry, reading plays, you always started with this historical context in which the play or the piece of literature was written. And I always found myself gravitating more to that history. And once I just started reading tons of history, I was bitten by the bug. And so I'm dual credentialed at UCI with English and history. So more and more, I've been moving towards teaching history, which I quite enjoy. But I teach English as well, which I love. So it's best of both worlds. I lived in South Korea for about 3 years. I taught English as a second language there, with great experience. I worked at the high school level in Newport Mesa and Capo Unified. I worked at Fountain Valley, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And then I moved to Tewinkle about 4 years ago, where I teach English and history, and I just absolutely love it here. So my learning philosophy, or I'm sorry, my lesson philosophy and how I build them is that I start out with a goal. What do I want the kids to learn? The assessments is how am I going to measure it? And the objectives is what experiences, what are they doing to get there? So basically, you start at the end and you build your way backwards. And that's how I build all my lessons. So the course goals is that we're going to learn U.S. history from the colonial period all the way to the Reconstruction era. That's post-Civil War. We're going to find relevance in our world and our life today. That's very important to connect this. Why are we learning about someone that's lived 400 years ago? Well, human beings haven't changed too much. So the struggles that they went through back then, we can relate it to back here. We'll read, write, speaking, listening. That's in every class. Technology, we're going to use it a lot. We're going to look at cause and effect relationships, historical responsibility, and we're going to develop a civic identity and what it means to be a productive citizen in this country, in our representative democracy. So our norms is we'll do a lot of close textual analysis, reading and writing, speaking and listening. We will do our best to speak in groups. I'm not sure how that's going to look in hybrid, but safety is obviously always paramount in this COVID-19 world. We might not do too much paired discussion, but we will do the best we can, because it's not just me direct teaching to the students. It's the students learning and teaching me, and we're all learning in this environment together, and I'm facilitating their learning as they go along. Our history literacy standards. We're going to learn central ideas, summaries, text-based evidence, collaborative discussions, and primary and secondary sources. We'll work a lot with the secondary sources, but we will get into those primary sources, the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence primarily. Those are two important documents, as you all know. Historical thinking skills. It's very hard to look back 400 years ago and not judge the people in that environment from our 2020 lenses. So what I'm going to teach them first, or what we've been talking about, is presentism. And basically, we from 2020 take a time machine back to them. Now, what bad history is when all those figures, all those events take a time machine to us. Okay? So we're going to really try to learn their world and understand why they made certain choices. Compared to what is an idea that I use from an old economics joke where one economist asks another, like, how you feel? And he says, compared to what? So to understand our Bill of Rights, why they're important, we will look at other countries and other ways of living that do not have these rights. And so you could kind of understand, like, oh, okay, well, maybe this is important, that just is in the air, this liberty that we have. Reverse engineering, we're going to take events and we're going to see how they might be different if one piece wasn't there. And it really kind of teaches us in history that sometimes this is luck. In the Battle of Brooklyn, when George Washington was able to escape, that was a matter of fog. If the wind shifted from southeast instead of southwest, there wouldn't have been a layer of fog where George Washington and his soldiers could have escaped, saving the army of the Revolutionary War and literally creating this country. So there's a lot of things that could happen in history that just didn't. So sometimes it's very important to teach what occurred, but sometimes teaching the could have beens is very important as well. And of course, our multiple perspectives. So the colonial experience was very different with that experience with a white male landowner than from maybe an Algonquin Indian, that how all these Europeans come in, or a French fur trader, or a female of any culture for that matter, or a slave stolen from Africa and brought across the Atlantic Ocean. So we're going to look at this history from many different perspectives. It's not just one linear line, it's a collage. And we're going to try our best to figure out a narrative. Next one. Here's our grading system. 70% assessment. That's high. That's a lot, but I'm going to give them a lot of practice to get there. And this is quizzes, papers, projects, tests. 20% in-class work and 10% discussion. This is all the technology you've probably been hearing about, seeing your kids do. We're going to continue on that road, and I won't spend too much time on here. Our student expectations, we respect each other. We look at all ideas, and we could judge the ideas, but we do not judge the person having those ideas. Okay, we always respect someone. If they have an idea that we do not that we disagree with, we still respect them in this class. We are committed to open expression. There shouldn't be anyone that's afraid to share their ideas, because that shuts down thinking. And we always grant positive intent. We might get our feelings hurt sometimes if we have different opinions, but we want to start from the place that this person did not mean to hurt me. They're expressing themselves, and so we're gonna grant them positive intentions instead of just, oh, you tried to hurt my feelings. And we will have some struggles every once in a while, but we'll get through them, and we'll be better people because of it. If your child is absent, they'll have to make up the work. Late work is not accepted unless accompanied with a reasonable excuse. I'm a big softie with those reasonable excuses. So talk to me about an extension on some homework. We'll work something out. I'm, like I said, pretty flexible. Beliefs in history class is I told this to your children, that this is one of 2 United States history class. We got civics in 12th grade, but this is it. 8th grade is all the way up to Reconstruction, and then you have U.S. history that takes on from World War I to present in junior year. So this is an important time, especially in this election year, in this highly partisan world where it seems like one side just absolutely hates the other side. So I'm going to do my best to kind of make an argument on why this country is so great, and these founding documents are so good. Okay, now, just like people, countries make mistakes, and we'll look directly at those mistakes, but we're going to be looking at it through a prism of historical responsibility and not so much historical guilt. We could get better when we look at our mistakes, but we are truly a great nation. And next slide is if you want to get in contact with me, here's my email and message me on School Loop with any questions. And then here's this bit.ly. Oh, sorry. Here's my fam bam. This is actually an old picture, but they look, just imagine them a little bit bigger and me a little bit fatter. There's the wife and the two boys, Julian and Joseph. I love them to death. And then here's these guys that I walk and feed and clean up their poop, but they're good to have around too. Any questions or concerns? Here's the bit.ly that you guys could type in, and I'd love to hear about your thoughts. But if you have no questions, that's all good too. Very excited to teach your children. They're awesome already, I could tell, and I really hope to be in the classroom with them when it becomes safe. Thank you so much.